Hey, welcome to another episode of The American Dream. Good to have you here. Today we got a great show. We're getting into city council matters with Chris Cate from the 6th District, going to join us in studio. Also, financial advice, real estate advice, mortgage advice, really cool stuff. And we're announcing a big event on today's show. You're going to love this one. You are watching The American Dream. Let's get the show started. Every single day you are consumed with information. The 24/7 negative news cycle and a pop culture that's polluting the airwaves, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. Every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. Now for the word on the American dream. So the market's been up and down, a lot of volatility. We've seen it get crushed after the global story of Brexit came into play. But what you might not realize is when there's uncertainty in the marketplace, it actually can be a very good thing. It can move money into our bond market, and that's what we're seeing happening. Bonds are off to the races. They're hitting yearly highs. Now, what does that mean? Why should you care? Well, we talk a lot about real estate on this show. The other day, I saw what interest rates are doing, and I wanted to share with you. I have decided I am refinancing my mortgage, and you should too. You are never going to see mortgage rates this low again. If that does happen, I will stand corrected. But right now, you can lock into an interest rate where they're practically paying your mortgage for you. 15-year notes are in the twos. It's crazy. Remember when rates used to be in the double digits in the 80s? Now you can lock into a 30-year fixed rate somewhere in the mid-threes. So the word today on the American Dream is despite the uncertainty and the market going down, bonds are going up, and that can be really good for you on interest rates if you're buying a house or refinancing. And that's the word. And for more information, for an introduction, for guidance on any of this stuff, visit me online at craigsewing.com. Ask for an introduction to my mortgage guy. Happy to connect you there. All right, now let's go ahead and bring in our first guest of the show today. He's a city council member out of the 6th District. We got Chris Cate joining us in studio as our first guest right now. All right, now joining us in studio representing the 6th District out of San Diego, we got Chris Cate, who's been on the show before. Good to have you on again.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, definitely. So you have got through election season. You just mentioned in between the break that you got through the budget part of your job now. So what's next? Well, what do we need to know from that? Let's start there.
So from the budget, it's great news.
Yeah.
We're having the most amount of investment in infrastructure we've ever had as a city. About over $400 million is being invested in infrastructure, over $100 million specifically for streets. So the mayor has...
It's been a big topic.
Absolutely. For everybody to go to, streets and potholes is the number one topic on people's minds. And so we're investing money to address that issue. And this has been a promise from the mayor's office. All of us as a council have been really involved in this. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping up with that commitment to dedicate that type of funding to infrastructure. So it's
Can we afford it?
Yes. We made it a priority as a council to invest in this. So we have been acting upon the mayor's commitment to dedicate 50% of new major revenues to infrastructure, which is a huge investment. It's a priority as from the mayor and now us as a council as well to invest it. We're not raising taxes to invest in it. The measure that voters adopted in June, Proposition H, dedicates major revenues, sales tax revenue, pension reform revenues to infrastructure, all without having to raise taxes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well done.
Absolutely.
So now, between now and November, what are we looking forward to?
So from my standpoint, one big topic we've been involved in for the last year and a half are short-term vacation rentals. It was actually an issue.
That's a big topic.
Absolutely. It was an issue we got involved in the day after I got into office. We got a call from a resident in Claremont who rents out a room in his house every once in a while. Got a letter from our city treasurer's office indicating that he may be out of compliance with our laws and may have to pay for a permit. And we started looking at the laws that we have on the books when it comes to short-term vacation rentals, and it's very ambiguous. And what's allowed, what's not allowed. And so we've been in the process trying to find the best solution to make it legal. People can do it, make sure there's enforcement on that side for folks who are bad apples, but still allow for the process to unfold.
Yeah, it's really, this is an interesting one for me. Because I'm a free market kind of guy. And if you want to rent your house, you should be able to rent your house. But then you think about it, well, who is it being rented to? Are they disturbance to the community? And it's like a lot of things in politics. So often you see, whether it's politicians or people commenting on politics, they run to a side and they polarize. I tend to look at both sides and be empathetic and say, see that point of view, see that point of view. So what is your stance on it? What do you genuinely believe we should do if it was up to you?
Well, I come from that same standpoint, very pro property rights, free market, allowing the industry to occur. And this is not a new issue. And since we have Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, the platforms have changed. But the renting out of your room or your house is not new to San Diego. We are a tourism economy. We rely on folks coming to San Diego. So I come from the standpoint of we should allow it. It should move forward, but we should also have a process where there is strict enforcement on the homes when it is being rented out. What I don't want, and what I am sympathetic to, are the folks who are living next door to homes that are being rented out to 20 guys who are in for a bachelor party and making noise over the whole entire weekend. So we can go the route of let's ban it. And there are some cities who have done that. We're just going to ban short-term vacation rentals.
I don't see how you can ban it because those 20 guys are, okay, so they're going to go to the Hard Rock Hotel and create disturbances at the hotel, right?
Or it's going to go underground, which we have seen in other cities where they've tried to ban it and this went underground and it's on Craigslist or in classified ads or whatever the case may be. So I want a legal framework to allow for it, but also have an opportunity to enforce the existing noise ordinances, occupancy ordinances that we have already on the books. And how do we dedicate money to enforcing it on a 24-hour day, 7-day a week? And also say, if you are going to make a disturbance, we find the people who are making the disturbance as well as the property owner and make that person responsible for who they rent out to. So we want responsible owners.
So when you say
doing
enforce it, give me an idea of enforcing. You're probably not going to throw someone in jail,
of
right?
Course, no. So what our proposal says is that if there is a disturbance, first off, there has to be a local contact on site. There has to be a 24-hour day, 7-day a week local contact who's available to respond to complaints. If there is a complaint and we have a 24-hour day, 7-day a week, either code enforcement officer or police officer who comes on site and looks around and says, yes, you guys are causing a major disturbance. It'll be at their discretion. You have a major discretion. We want to give them the authority to say, okay, I'm going to fine every person in here $1,000, plus we're going to fine the property owner $1,000. And for the property owner, if there are numerous occasions where they're violating the law, there'll be escalating fines and eventually remove their right to rent out that place on a short-term basis.
So kind of like a 3-strike rule.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Exactly. But we're still allowing the use to happen. But you just have to be a good actor when you're doing it.
Well, I think you definitely have to punish the actual criminals, right?
Yes.
Criminal, I don't know, it just depends what they do.
Violators.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you have to definitely hit them. They're the ones causing the problem. But I think if you put the homeowners' feet to the fire a little bit, they'll be a little bit more respectable of their neighborhood and certainly doing their due diligence on who they put into that house. So I think you have a pretty thoughtful plan around it. It'll be interesting to hear how it all comes to fruition, and I'd love to continue having you on the show to learn more about that and everything else going on. So Chris Cate, District 6, good to have you on the show
once again.
Thanks for having me on. All right, coming up next, the #1 realtor per the Wall Street Journal, Kyle Whissel. We took Jen Morris, our co-host, and we went out to East County. Check out this home in this area and what Kyle has to say about the market right now.
Hi, I'm Steve Madsen. My wife Debbie and I are the owners of this fabulous home in beautiful Coronado. We decided to put solar in the home because we wanted to have a smaller carbon footprint and we wanted to save some money. I'm a retired contractor and I've worked with Baker Electric in the past, so when I found out they had a solar division, I was ecstatic. They're a good company, got integrity, a good work ethic. I would definitely recommend Baker. My wife and I are extremely happy with what they've done for us.
Hey Craig and the American Dream. Today we're here in Santee, meeting with the #1 agent per the Wall Street Journal, Kyle Whissel, and his special guest today, mayoral candidate Rob McNellis. We're going to talk about how much this area has changed and the breathtaking $1 million properties Santee has to offer. Once a small farm town, Santee is now home to multiple $1 million listings and boasts a family-friendly atmosphere with an excellent school system and one of the lowest crime rates in East County. Kyle Whissel is our go-to guy out of this marketplace, so we can't wait to hear what he has to say now. Today we're here at the Town Center Community Park East, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Kyle Whissel, #1 per the Wall Street Journal, and his special guest today, current City Council member Rob McNellis and mayoral candidate.
Got it.
Thanks for being here, guys. So Santee has grown so much over the last few decades. Tell us about that.
Well, Santee's growth has been incredible. We went from this sleepy little cow town to a burgeoning, everything you could possibly need urban city that's tucked in the suburbs, but you still have that small town feel. And I think that's probably really the biggest part of it, is that small town feel. That's what I hear about all the time, is the community spirit. We have all the good stuff, but it still feels like a really small,
Intimate
midtown.
town.
Yeah.
Tell us about the development coming in, residential and commercial.
Commercial's been a good growth for us. It's been steady. As everywhere, residential slowed down dramatically for the late 2000s, but has now really picked back up. Inventory is almost non-existent. Kyle knows all about that part of it. But what we do have coming on, we have over 900 units coming into Santee over the next 18 months. 18 months to 2 years that are already approved, that just need to be developed.
Kyle, what are you noticing in the area?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lack of inventory right now, which is a great time to be a seller in this market. And we're starting to break that $1 million mark here in Santee. So there's, right now on the market today, there's 4 homes $1 million or higher in Santee, which people would never think of when they think of Santee. They think it's just a normal little family community, but there is a luxury market in Santee now as well that's really growing by leaps and bounds.
And there's so many great qualities, so many great features to Santee. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, I mean, we're here at the community park right now, and within a few hours from now, there's gonna be 4,000 or 5,000 people here because they have concerts at the park every Thursday night. At Santee Lakes, they do movies at the park once a month. So it's just a lot of fun, family-friendly activities out here.
It is incredible. This is actually, Santee's the last city in San Diego County that allows you to have alcoholic beverages within the park. So you can come out here with your family, have a bottle of wine, a beer, whatever, bring your picnic out, and everybody can, they just run around playing. Like we were just talking earlier, the kids, it's the most amazing thing to see out here. When the kids are running around, they have smiles on their faces, mom and dad are just having a good time together, listening to some great bands that we have for free every Thursday night. This is definitely the place to be.
You can't beat that. And let's talk about the school system.
Yeah, definitely. So schools are one of the things that really drive the real estate market, and they drive home values. Poway's always traditionally been known as the school district everybody wants to be in, but Santee is nipping at their heels right now. Whereas Poway's a 9 out of 10 on the ranking system, Santee's an 8 out of 10, so we're right there with Poway. So we're seeing a lot of people coming to Santee as opposed to Poway because you get a lot more value for your money out here. So that's helping to grow the community. It's bringing a lot of new changes, and it's widening the demographic that we have in Santee, which is a great thing.
And incredibly low crime rates as well.
Exactly. We're always in the top 3 for lowest crime rates in the entire county. I think dollar for dollar, pound for pound, you're going to be real hard pressed to find anything that's a better per square foot than the city of Santee.
So I heard a rumor that Carl Strauss might be coming into the area.
That's a very good rumor that you've heard. We do have Carl Strauss on the books right now, coming into town. It'll be the largest brewery in San Diego County. Takes 10 acres of space up. It'll have the grotto on the side, much like Stone did up in Escondido and Point Loma, except it's just going to be bigger and better.
Absolutely, just like Santee,
Just
bigger
like
and
Santee.
better. So Kyle, I know that you have a listing that you want to share with us. Tell us about that.
Definitely. So it's located in the Sky Ranch community, which is the premier community in Santee. It's just under 2,500 square feet. What makes the home special, it's got $400,000 invested into the backyard alone, down to the finest details of grafted fruit trees, where one of them will grow 5 different apples, one will grow pears, plums, peaches, apricots. It's insane.
Off the same tree.
Off the same tree.
Farmer's market.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
amazing.
Off of 4 trees.
It's amazing. It's got a beautiful infinity edge pool with fire bowls, looking over all of Santee. It's got this really cool waterfall where fire shoots up and water flows over the top of it. Huge gazebo, fireplace, outdoor TV, speakers. It's just a gorgeous home. It's perfect for somebody who wants to have the best of the best, meticulous with the details, just under $1 million here in Santee.
That's unbelievable. You can't beat that anywhere else.
400,000 in
that.
upgrades, and you're under $1 million.
That's
You
a
just
couple
don't find
million.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Kyle.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
My absolute pleasure.
Hey there guys, it's Kyle with the Whistle Realty team, and today we're here at one of the most amazing homes you will ever see anywhere in San Diego, and the most amazing home here in the city of Santee at 5555 Claret Street. Let's go inside and check this gem out.
For more information on this amazing home, give me a call, Kyle Whistle, at 858-699-3895. Thanks so much for watching.
You just heard from Kyle Whistle, #1 agent per the Wall Street Journal, and his guest today, Rob McNellis, mayoral candidate and current city council member. They talked about all the incredible features that Santee has to offer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I am Bob Schuster. This is Arlene Schuster. We live in Escondido, California, and we chose Baker Electric Solar to install our solar system at our home.
We've known the Baker family for many years. We're both pioneer families here in Escondido. We chose them because of the integrity of their family.
But they were first class. We know what good service means to the customer. Baker Electric is the epitome of that good service.
It's the best experience we could have ever had. We're very pleased.
All right, now joining us in studio, you need to know how you can finance the American dream. Kyle Whistle just gave a great story on East County, but finding great homes is one thing. To actually get the financing, it's a whole different ballgame. Laleh Hanks joins us in studio. We had you on Operation American Dream a week ago. Now we got you in here. Good to have you on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back.
So technically, this is your first time on the show.
Absolutely.
Because Operation American, close enough.
We've met many times.
Yes, we sure have. So you got a lot of cool stuff going on. I know that you're big on education, right? When you talk about mortgage, you're giving someone a big debt. That's how a lot of people look at it. The reality is it's actually a financial instrument, and there's a lot of things that come along with buying a house besides house debt. Tax planning, estate planning, credit scoring, appraising. I mean, there's all these things that come along with it. So you developed America Choice Benefits.
Correct.
Tell us about it.
Well, basically, before my 15-year mortgage career, I actually offered employee benefits until September 11th came around and said, not anymore.
Yeah,
and took me
changed
down.
things
But
a little bit.
hindsight, now I completely want to blend the two. I believe that...
Hold on real quick. It's been
Sure.
15 years since 9/11. Isn't that crazy? You just said that, and I just was like, what?
Feels
Your
like
math was
yesterday
off.
in some sense, and everybody remembers where they were and how it affected them, and I definitely do. It was a
Yeah.
very hard time for me, but that's also a blessing because that's how I got so heavily involved in the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
And I have America Choice Mortgage. And so after all these years, I feel like even if it's a CEO or just a general contractor, it doesn't matter what line of work, a teacher, a nurse, it's this deer in the headlights feeling because they're not given enough information and knowledge, and everybody wants the American dream, but
Yeah.
not everybody knows how to get there, and you really need to place yourself with power partners and professionals that you can trust so that you're not taken advantage of.
Well, sometimes that's difficult, right? I feel like the people that have reached out from the show over the years, it's like they have a financial planner here, they don't even have an estate plan there, they don't have a mortgage go-to, which you should have a mortgage partner, just like you have a financial advisor, right? A lot of times people look at the mortgage, we need a mortgage, right? So
Right.
the realtor recommends. When that's a financial instrument, you're going to build equity, you might buy investment properties, pay for your kids' college.
Right.
So there's a lot more to it than just bubble gumming
So
and
much
ducting
more to
together
it.
all these professionals.
And you want these professionals to also be able to work together, because if one
Right.
tax accountant is trying to get you the best tax advantage as possible, but you're trying to buy a home the next year, you could actually be cutting yourself short because it's a double-edged sword. So if you have good professionals that can actually communicate and work well together, then you're going to be able to make a well-rounded, diversified plan so that you can have your American dream.
Yep, and your skill set is on the mortgage side.
On the mortgage side, and one of the things that I'm proud of, not to say that people shouldn't have taken the loan, but I never wrote a NAGAM loan, not once in 15 years. And trust me, back in 2000,
The pay option arm?
Yes. And
Yeah.
but what I found is if I gave people the true facts about the program, there's pros and cons to every program, and let them know how to use it. Nobody really opted for it because it was too advanced for their skill set or what they needed.
Right.
I took one for myself. I knew how to use it. I knew when I wanted to get out, but not everybody
And
has
I
that.
have real estate that's on adjustable rate mortgages,
Yeah,
right? So and
absolutely.
it's been awesome. I've
I
saved
still
a
write
ton of
adjustable
money.
rates mortgages all the time for somebody that plans to maybe just finish their kids through high school and then they don't need the big house anymore. So why pay a 30-year note? And other things like the biweekly payment. Never fall for the biweekly payment. Don't ever pay your principal down when it's a fully amortized loan. You're actually just wasting money. But the big banks spend a lot of money to encourage people to do
Wow.
this. So I think that having true factual knowledge is going to save people thousands of dollars and allow them to pay off their mortgages in full sooner.
So this is a really big takeaway for the show today. When you see these commercials from the big banks or the Quicken Loans of the world, they're just factories to produce loans in high volume, and you don't necessarily get tailored advice. Your mortgage, your real estate, you got to know what your short and long-term financial goals are and how does the real estate play into that. Not to mention it's a home you get to live in it too and build a lot of memories.
Absolutely, I
so
agree.
it's important. Having that hands-on is important. You got a big event coming up?
We do, on August 11th for
Okay.
Creating First Impressions. It's a nonprofit that I sit on the board with, and we actually help disadvantaged youth with career placement skills. So our very first program, we actually helped 17 teenagers that were homeless in San Diego,
Wow.
already going to the Monarch School in San Diego. By the end of our program, they knew how to write resumes, interview for jobs, budget their bank accounts, and 75% of them actually had paying internships or paying jobs.
Wow. So so tell us about the big event. Who should go to this?
Anybody and everybody. I mean, it's a
Okay.
concert, live music.
So it's
we have
fun.
so much fun. Live
Yeah.
music under the stars. We've got all kinds of music. It's called a Class C Country Benefit Concert. And I don't want people to get caught up in the country music side of it, because I believe today, if you live in this country and you play good music, you are today's country music, because it's such a blend of everything that we all grew up on and loved.
Very cool. So that's August 11th. Anybody can attend, have fun. The money that's involved goes to a great cause.
Absolutely. Would love to keep
Awesome.
the program going.
Do you ever get tired, Laleh
Yes.
Hanks?
Yeah, you got
Laleh
it. Just like
Hanks.
Tom Hanks. We just don't share a bank account.
Yeah. Well, it's hard enough with your first name, an Eric Clapton song.
I'll just go by Laleh.
Yeah, perfect. Well, good to have you on the show. Good luck
Thanks,
with your
Craig.
event. If you want to get more information, visit them online. The money goes to a good cause. But look, if you are looking to buy a house, which you talk a lot about on the show, you need great advice, tailored advice, and Laleh can help you with that. All right, coming up next, we're going to dive into the marketplace. You've seen a lot of crazy stories like Brexit, the market triple-digit swinging, bonds on the rise, yields down, crazy environment. Dave Elhoff, financial advisor, joins us in studio to teach us what's going on with our market and what you can do about it. Coming up next. All right, now joining us in studio, he's been with us in radio and TV for years, giving financial advice. Dave Elhoff, Elhoff Wealth. Good to have you here.
Hey, Craig, great to be here.
So, real world versus ideal world. This is something that you've talked about before, and
Yep.
we're going to explain to our audience how those are not necessarily the same thing.
Absolutely. You take in an ideal world, a gentleman, 35 years old, earning $100,000. He doesn't get a single pay increase, no inflation adjustment. Over his lifetime to age 65, he'll earn $3 million. In an ideal world, he'd have $3 million.
That sounds good.
So, but what happens is, in the real world, the first thing that comes into play are taxes. And because taxes come into play, what happens? That $3 million immediately in a 30% tax bracket only goes to $2.1 million. What's another eroding factor? Inflation. That $2.1 million does not buy 30 years from now what it would buy today. So those are two eroding factors. Those are the only two eroding factors that most financial advisors talk about. But there's more. And that's why, if you take a look at the screen, we recommend that you got to save about 15% of your gross income in order to defeat these eroding factors.
So that's a good rule of thumb.
Absolutely. The eroding factors are market fluctuations. They are law changes, lawsuits, technological change, iPhones, iPads, iPods, everything that's come out over the last several years that you can't live without. Unexpected life events, you may get disabled, you may lose a job. Fees and consumer financing, increased standard of living. As we earn more, we tend to spend more. And planned obsolescence. Every time something wears out, you got to have it replaced. It goes away from your
As
wealth.
a homeowner, I'm learning that lesson quickly.
Exactly. I want to give you an example too, Craig. Let's imagine, how do we take a look at it? Well, the difference between $3 million in an ideal world and $2.1 million just with the taxes, that's $900,000.
Yeah.
So where does this erosion come from? Let me take into account your homeowner's insurance.
Yep.
Imagine that's $1,500 for 30 years. That's $45,000 that you're not going to have, and you may never have to use your homeowner's insurance.
Right.
So that's $45,000, but it's not just $45,000. If you didn't have to pay that insurance premium, and I'm not saying not to do it, but what I'm saying is if you didn't have to, then you would have $125,000 at age 65, and that could be used for you. And it doesn't stop there, though. Lost opportunity cost continues for the rest of your life. You are projected to live past 85. Another 20 years, if you had that $125,000, would grow to $425,000. So that's money you're not going to have because you're doing the reasonable thing to support make sure that you're protected.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so between $0 and $425,000, if there was a way to recapture some of that for you to work with no additional out-of-pocket outlay and the potential of increasing that from $0 to $425,000, and I have to say potential because of compliance issues and stuff. There's nothing guaranteed.
Right.
However, if we could do that with no additional out-of-pocket outlay, recapture some of that, and you'd have more money, more benefits with less risk, how much of that is worth sitting down and taking a look at? Is it $250,000 if we could recapture some of that?
Yep.
$425,000, $300,000? I think it'd be worth it for $25,000.
Yeah, I think what people need are answers. Right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of generalized information out there. Put money into your 401k out of your pay stub, or save money here, have a rainy day fund over there. But one of the things that I've seen you do in the past is you integrate all this into spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And you can show people, I think you've called it the script to their movie.
Yeah.
Right? And that movie being ultimately their retirement. And if you don't like the ending, if you don't like the age at which you get to retire, the amount of money it's going to pay you on a monthly basis, or when you're going to run out of money,
Yep.
If you don't like that, you can rewrite the script. And your job as a financial advisor is to really analyze how this movie's been written now to project for that retirement age.
Absolutely.
And we're all living longer.
Yes.
So now it's more important.
Absolutely, and I tell you, I can tell you this, that the accumulation theory that people are using is going to cause them to fail because it subjects them to all these eroding factors, and it's under attack. Whereas if we have money in motion, it's going to create more money, and it's not going to be subject to these eroding factors. And that's how we get a multiply factor going.
Yeah, interesting message here today. We learned a lot today, Dave.
Yes.
You even took my homeowner statement and turned it into $400,000. Well, no guarantees. We got to be careful with you and the compliance stuff, but you've been doing this stuff for a long time.
Absolutely.
With a lot of people, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe you're approaching retirement. Dave Elhoff is a great guy to sit down with. He is a wealth of knowledge, no pun intended. Visit him online. What's the best website for you now, Elhoff?
www.elhoffwealth.com.
Visit Dave online. You'll learn a lot about him. Of course, you can visit me online as well, craigsewing.com, and I'm happy to facilitate the introduction. We've done this for hundreds of people, maybe even thousands over the years with that financial kit. It gives out a free financial kit as well. If you want that, reach out, craigsewing.com. All right, Dave, great advice. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Hey, hope you enjoyed today's show, all of the content and the amazing experts you saw on the program today. If you want to just comment on the show, reach out to us. Go to craigsewing.com. Have a great one.